Good morning. It's good to be back with you this morning. And today I want to deal with the subject of flexibility. And this is kind of going to be a little bit of a comical session, but just bear with me. Um, I think this is an interesting topic, especially in light of a video I done I don't know, probably a couple weeks ago about accepting us for who we are, and what we are. Uh, Jesus said, believe or be damned, basically. And so you can either believe in us and on us and what we are and accept it, or you can reject it. It's up to you. But today I'm going to deal with this idea of flexibility. And just when you think I've got my INFJ figured out, we're going to throw a monkey wrench in all that because you haven't even scratched the surface of the paradoxes that lie within the INFJ. You know, just when you think, oh, I've got them figured out, you haven't even scratched the surface of volume one yet. So anyway, so here we are. We're going to discuss this idea of flexibility. In light of what we talked about the other day, you can accept us or reject us. And there was a word picture that came to my mind. Well, actually, this image of this toy came to my mind. And my mind went back to my childhood because, and most of you fellas probably had one of these, especially if you're my age, your middle age, late 40s, early 50s. There used to be a toy called Stretch Armstrong. Do you remember that toy?
Breaking news. Today, unpredictable events have occurred across the globe. Who has come to save the day for humanity? Who is this mysterious, mighty hero?
Stretch Armstrong.
Your stretchable superhero. Stretch him 4 times his size. He becomes bigger than a building. Tie him into a knot. He always goes back to his original shape. Stretch him again and again. Stretch Armstrong. The return only from character.
Stretch Armstrong.
There he is. Oh, Stretch. I mean, you could pull his arms, his legs. You could mold him. You could wad him in a ball. You could stuff him into a little, round, a pipe, if you wanted. You could just do all kind of things with him. And so a lot of people, and I thought about this Stretch Armstrong, and I thought that is the INFJ. I mean, if there was ever a picture in my mind that would represent us and how we operate and what we do, I couldn't think of anything better when it comes to the topic of flexibility. We really can stretch ourselves to fit a lot of different situations, a lot of people's needs and a lot of areas of their life. We can really fit into almost I'd say every personality type. You can throw us in the ring with them, and sooner or later we'll find some niche, some way to connect. We'll get together. We'll find something in common that we can, make a go of it. But we are probably the most flexible of all of the 16 personalities when it comes to being able to do this. Connect with these different personalities and different types in different situations and areas. And I'm not talking about like a complete soul, total connection. I'm talking about, we can connect in little minor ways that can get us by in a situation. And we can be very flexible. I mean, just when you think, Lord, I couldn't be stretched any farther, the Lord says, oh yeah, you got a little bit more left, But there's something within us, that gives us this ability to be flexible. And I believe really that flexibility comes from the soul. It comes from down inside. Paul said, I've become all things to all men that I might win some. That was Paul's nature. The Apostle Paul, he could be flexible. At Mars Hill, he talked to the Greeks, about, the unknown God. There was a statue there to the unknown God in the book of Acts. And Paul was able to take the image that they already possessed, the Greeks, with this unknown God, and he was able to portray that in a way that connected them with the one true God and with his son, Jesus Christ. So he was able to take that image and that picture and that statue even that was there in Greece, and he was able to bring it alive to their minds to cause them to understand who the true God was. And I think that is a phenomenal ability to be able to stretch your mind, your verbal communication, to be able to stretch yourself, your very being. Because so many people are just hot and cold. I mean, it's black or white, in or out, it's right or wrong. Everything is just a teetotal, and I do know that there are things that are certainly black and certainly white, and there are things that are absolutes here and there. I believe in absolutes. But at the same time, when you're dealing with other people, there has to be a level of flexibility with which you can communicate whatever truths those are with them. And there's a way in which you can do that. And there's a way that's more effective than others in doing that. It's always bothered me, and I've had this trouble for years in church, to see a man get in I've invited preachers to come and preach for me, and they'll get in my pulpit, and the very first time they hit the pulpit, they turn on the black and white thinking, and they look out through the crowd, and they say, I'm going to straighten sister so-and-so out, and boy, they start, rah, 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 bless God, and you're going to go to hell because you're doing this, you're doing that, and you're doing something else. I can't stand that. I can't stomach that. That's just somebody wanting to project their authority, and they want to manipulate people. That's not people that care about you, because you could conform to what they're preaching or teaching, and the next thing you know, they'd find something else wrong with you, and they'd beat you up over that, and it would never end. I know, because I've dealt with this all my life. So they're not flexible. There's no way that they can seem to connect with people, even though they may differ with them on some little issue, some little thing, some minor thing, or there's not going to be a connection as long as you're rigid and you're hard and you're like steel and there's no flexibility. What can you do except harm another person? I want you to just take a look at what happens when these rigid people get really angry, really hot. These people want to connect with us, but the reason they want to do it is they want to extract out of us, basically burn us, extract out of us what causes us to be so flexible, so soft, so loving. And once that's gone, we become hardened. We become like them if we're not careful. So don't let the hardened, narcissistic individual who's always trying to find a way to penetrate your barriers, penetrate your boundaries, get inside of your gut, your soul, and extract that which is good and wholesome in you that causes you to be this flexible, warm individual that you are, that you can be able to fit in circumstances. It's funny because sometimes narcissistic people will try to cram you into their mold, and that ain't going to work out too well for these folks, let me tell you. Sometimes we plug up their machine. Sometimes that which they thought I'm gonna force them to be what bless God. And if you're not careful, we'll gum up the works. You don't want to do that, especially to an INFJ. If you're toxic out there, please don't try to force us into something that we're not comfortable with, because you're just going to mess up your own machine, okay? It's not going to work. So, yes, we're flexible. Yes, there's ways that we can stretch and we can connect and with people and in situations here and there and everywhere. We can do that. But if you burn us, you might think, I'll just throw it to the side. I'll pick it up later. But look, if you burn us, if we do lose what we have inside, you're not going to like us. We're not going to be that warm, stretchy toy anymore. We're just going to be, another piece of waste. Unfortunately, I feel like that's what a lot of people want us to be, just a wasted life that's no value, because they can relate to that. But folks, we have value. We have substance. We have something in us that's real, and it makes us who we are. Don't lose that, And one thing about old Stretch, no matter how far you stretched him, he always come back to Stretch. No matter how far you pulled him, no matter which directions he went, he always slowly came back to his core. That's the way you and I are, INFJs. We always come back to our core, and our core is pretty good. God bless you. I love all of you. I appreciate you for watching. Take care.